Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. In today's video, we're going to talk getting started with the Middle-earth strategy battle game, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Lothlorien faction, the Wood Elves of Middle-earth. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit briefly about the army bonus for the army and how this can sort of affect the army, and then we'll take a look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with, normally a character and a box of troops. We'll then take a look at some other units. This could be a mix of characters and units that we're going to take a look at to expand upon after those couple of initial purchases, and then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 300 points to put it all together to give you some inspiration for starting your own army in the Middle-earth strategy battle game using the Wood Elves of Lothlorien. And so, to start off with, we have the army bonus where friendly Lothlorien models gain the resistance to magic special rule. This is pretty much a simple rule. What it does, we're going to get models that are going to be less affected by magic. If a model is targeted by a magical power, it can use an additional 3 dice when it makes a test to resist, even if it has no will remaining, or decides not to use any will points from its store. So this is just nice. Elves, really good at resisting magic. This is just going to greatly help us not have to spend will on those sort of things. Really good for our characters, and useful for our troops even as well, because friendly Lothlorien models, all of them get it. And so, where to start for the Lothlorien Elves? For me, I think Galadriel is the perfect place to start. It is a toss-up between her and Celebron on who you would want to start with, and both are around the same points value, though I think you get more with Galadriel without having to spend the extra points that you generally do on Celebron to make him a little bit more fighty. Now, Galadriel is unarmed, but she does wear the ring Nenya, so she can reroll her dice when using fate points. This is just straight up good, being able to reroll your fate dice rolls. Now, she has a fight of 6 and a shoot of 3+, with strength 3, defense 3, 1 attack, 3 wounds, and courage 7. Pretty solid, albeit, she's unarmed. But she has a heroic resolve, challenge, and defense, and she can also choose to take her Mirror of Galadriel for an additional 25 points, which allows friendly models to heal and fully restore their nice little points of fate. This is just solid all round. Now that is, a little bit of an expensive upgrade, and definitely probably not something you're going to look to use too much, maybe if you're only taking Galadriel. But she also has a cool rule where if your army includes Galadriel, you can upgrade any number of Galadriel warriors in her warband to Galadriel Guard at the cost of 1 point per model. Galadriel Guard have a courage of 6. This is really nice. This means, you can effectively put a Hornblower in most of your troops without having to spend the points for a Hornblower. Now, she does cause terror. She's a woodland creature, so she's not affected by moving through wooded terrain. And she can expend a single point of will each turn without reducing her own store, thanks to her Lady of the Lothlorien rule. Now, her magical powers include Blinding Light, Blessing of the Valor, Immobilize, and Command, so a lot of control-based powers. Now, to go along with her, obviously, looking at what units she can upgrade, Galadriel Warriors for me are the way to go. They wear heavy armor and have Elven made hand-and-a-half swords, so this is cool. This means you can use them as one-handed weapons for sword and board, or go two-handed weapons. You can choose which option. They have the options to take warhorns, banners. They can take elf bows, shields, and spears in there as well. So a really nice array of different options available to them. And of course, the elves, so they've got the woodland creature special rule as well. Now, looking at where we can go next after this, first of all, Galadriel Knights. These are your Galadriel warriors on cavalry. They're mounted on their horses. They have heavy armor, elven-made swords, and armored horses. They can take a banner, shields, and elf bows. They do have the expert rider rule, so this is going to allow them to be much better at cavalry than they're going to ignore. And they've got fleet foot and woodland creatures, so they're nice and fast. They ignore all those terrain rules for forests. It can be a really solid unit to have. Now, they do have 5 value of 5 and a defense of 5 base, so they're going up to 6 when they can take those shields. Courage 5 is pretty nice, and 1 attack, 1 wound, defense 5, as mentioned, strength 3. All in all, a pretty solid unit all round. Now, we do have other warrior options, and they are the Wood Elf Warriors. These are pretty much basic soldiers. They're not quite as heavily armoured. In fact, they don't wear any armour in comparison to the Galadriel, But they do have elven-made hand and half swords and elven cloaks. So this is going to help them, able to hide. And then we've got banners, elf bow, throwing daggers, and wood elf spears, all as extra options for them. Now, the wood elf spear is pretty interesting because in addition to the normal rules for spear, a model armed with a wood elf spear may also parry, allowing the model to use the rules for shielding. So they effectively swing their spears around and use them like bow staffs as well as their spears. They have the woodland creature special rule, and they've got fight value 5 with a 3+ shoot value, which is really nice. So they're actually, pretty solidly fighty. Not the most defensive, but they are, a little bit cheaper than your Galadriel warriors. Now, we then have the Wood Elf Sentinels, and they're a really interesting unit. So they've got elven-made swords, elf bows, and elven cloaks, and they've got the woodland creature rule. But their special thing here is they've got something called Enchanting Song, where a sentinel can sing one song each turn, provided they're not engaged in combat. These function exactly like magical powers, except they are automatically cast without spending will and cannot be resisted. They can do a variety of different things. Now, 2 of them have a range of 12 inch. The first one, the Hymn of Elbereth, does, and the beautiful song raises the spirits of the targeted model, and you can automatically pass a courage test for a certain model. You can also choose to use Eldamar Madrigal, which the target enemy model must immediately take a courage test. If it's passed, nothing happens. If the courage test is failed, the enemy model can walk around pretty much for you. And the Lady of Gondolin, the somber verse, recalls the mighty elf city of Gondolin, a name fit to freeze the hearts of evil beings. And the sentinel sings a song that cause terror. So there's plenty of ways to cause terror in this force. Now, I was talking about Celeborn because you do get him along when you get the particular Galadriel model you see here. Now, he can choose to take heavy armor, an elven-made hand and half sword, and shield. He comes unarmed, though. And he's got the Lord of the West ability for himself, like many other elven kings of the models, which is really nice. So what this is going to do is a model with a special rule can reroll a single d6 when making a duel. Additionally, they can reroll a single d6 when rolling to wound, so he can be a pretty good fighter. On top of this, causes terror, woodland creature, and the Lord of Lothlorien will allow his standfast rule to be 12 inch. He's also got magic in there as well for Aura of Command, Enchanted Blades, and Immobilize. Fight value of 6, strength and defense 4, base 3 attacks and 3 wounds with 3 of each might, will, and fate. He's a pretty solid character. But like I said, to really get the best out of Celeborn, you're having to spend more points. I think Galadriel is the better place to start and add Celeborn in second. And so here we have our sample army list for you. We're playing as Lothlorien, obviously 300 points on the nose with 3 bows and 10 warriors, so we're perfect there. Now we've got Galadriel as our hero of legend. She's going to be leading the army and our first warband. Now she's got 3 Galadriel knights, all of them with shields there, and then she's got a single Galadriel warrior that's going to have the banner and and then we've got 3 Galadriel warriors who are going to have heavy armor, their shields as well, so they're going to be sword and boarding. A Wood Elf Sentinel in the force as well, and then a couple of Wood Elf Warriors with bows to give us a couple of extra ranged attacks in the force. All in all, this is a pretty nice force. 3 knights are going to be able to go off and do their own thing. Galadriel is going to work well with those Galadriel Warriors, and you've got the Wood Elves there to provide some shooting support, and the Sentinel to do what Sentinels do best and cause massive disruption for the enemy's forces. If you've got some ideas on your first 300-point army list for the Lothlorien Wood Elves in the Middle-earth strategy battle game, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below what your favourite units are, what your favourite characters are, and how best to utilise them and load them out. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, come and join our Discord and join in the conversation there. We chat all things wargaming and other things besides as well. If you'd like to do that, you can come join via the descriptions linked to the server. Now, also linked down in the video's description is the best ways to support the channel via Patreon or YouTube members, or indeed grabbing some merch from our merch stores on either Teespring or on Ko-fi. As a special thank you to everyone who does support the channel on Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So, thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Alder and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising 8, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Bloobs, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Aaron DeHaven, Kevin Bowman, and Iron Grinch. And a special thank you to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lochlorien, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, and James South. Lastly, a special thank you to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel as well. Couldn't do this without you. Thank you all to everyone for watching once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.